Started. Call the meeting to order. Wednesday, October 9th, regular meeting of the Board of Education. Roll call vote. Shelley's absent. Attest to publication.
I saw it published at the bank.
Thank you, Joni. Approval of the agenda.
I will note that we are going to take the Eagle Scout presentation off and move it to November because Gunner is ill today. So if we can approve it with that change, that'd be appreciated.
Move to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Tina to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Lisa will read the district mission, vision, and values.
Bangor School District Mission, Vision, and Values. Mission, Bangor Pride, a small school building big futures. Vision, an innovative small school creating excellence through personalized learning and relationships for all. Values, student-centered, safety, opportunities for all, small class sizes, fiscally sustainable, foster community, continuous improvement, and professionalism. Board of Education collective commitments. As a member of the Bangor School Board, I will be an active listener who is open-minded, respectful, and inquisitive. Together with one collective voice, we are committed to forward thinking while strategically prioritizing for our students, staff, and community now and into the future.
Thank you, Lisa. Public comment? Approval of the minutes from September 11th, 2024.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Tina, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Sophie is stuck in traffic, so we can just bump her down a couple until she gets
Okay.
back.
That is for students' report. So Board President's report, we do have our budget hearing and our annual meeting 2 weeks from today. That is August 23rd. We will start at 6:30 here in the middle school, high school commons. That will start at 6:30 and the budget hearing will follow after that. Is that correct? Right?
Correct, and then
Okay.
we'll have the special board meeting following the annual meeting where the board will act on the final budget.
All right. So we'll see everyone Wednesday, October 23rd. Committee reports, we do not have any. Financial documents.
Didn't have any questions. Sounds like Tina's got a minor one that I'll be able to answer offline, but if there's no other questions, we'd look for approval of the financials.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly. Any further questions or discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. District reports. Some business honor roll.
Yeah, I guess I'll get this started. As you guys all know, the WASB Business Honor Roll recognizes outstanding local businesses that support their schools and their communities. This year 59 school districts nominated 186 businesses that provided a wide range of services and support to their local schools and students. Congratulations to these four businesses tonight who have been recognized for their support of the Bangor School District. So we will have, if you guys don't mind, Joni and Julie come up front here. We can grab a certificate. We'll have each group come up, do a little photo, and I'll read a little bit about them. We'll start with Mike Schindler, who is here tonight to represent Shin Doggies. On his in the notes that we've put online, the team at Shin Doggies of Bangor has been a partner of the Bangor schools for many years and has built a solid tradition of supporting the Bangor elementary PTO especially. Their food truck services have been wonderful, and their donations to the school each year are greatly appreciated. So we'd like to honor and thank Mike Schindler of Shin Doggies as being a great business partner for our school district. Thank you, Mike. Tonight we have with us Nick, Greg, and Rosemary Hanson, representing Hanson's IGA of Bangor. If you guys would come up and join us, that would be great. Hanson's IGA has been a longtime business partner of the school district of Bangor. We count on Hanson's for a range of services, from meeting our fleet's fuel needs and preparing incredible products for our concession stands, our offering and for offering their fundraising opportunities on Saturdays for brat sands. Hanson's is always ready to help us provide opportunities for our students. So thank you to Nick, Greg, and Rosemary. Thank you. Wendy and Kelly Vaughn were not able to be here tonight, but they sent one of their top employees, Dolly Small, to represent a newer business in Bangor, Highland Ridge Market. Highland Ridge Market is one of Bangor's newest businesses. Highland Ridge has been an appreciated partner to the district with many events. Most importantly, Highland Ridge has worked with the elementary school to create a mock business experience for one of our students. This small business in our small town symbolizes much of what our community represents. So we thank Highland Ridge Market for the great partnerships.
Neil is unable to make it. He's out of town, but would like a picture at some point.
Okay, we will definitely get that. So we'll just honor Neil Close, new owner of Bangor Lanes. We have recognized Bangor Lanes in the past for this honor under different leadership. Neil has continued the support for our district from fundraisers, hosting school events. He's just been an outstanding business partner and truly invested in our school and community. So we thank Bangor Lanes and Neil Close for his partnership with the district. Thank you to all of you for coming tonight. We appreciate it. We'll get this out on social media and in the paper as well. We know we sit here often and we don't always have a ton of people in the crowd, but we know that the support from our community is absolutely vital to what we do, and you guys are huge partners in making that happen. So thank you very much for everything that you do.
Thank you all for coming. I see Ms. Caceres here. Come on up.
So Sophie Casera is a member of our student council. We'll be doing our student report, I believe, each month, correct? And we went through a few things. There's quite a bit of things going on. So Sophie, take it away, please.
Okay. So since the last meeting, there was homecoming week, which is obviously a big thing in the school. The theme for the week was time to put on a show, and then the dance was neon, which we had a very good turnout this year compared to years before. Like, a lot of people came. And with the new setup of the school, it's kind of nice having it way more open and kind of free. The boys also beat Nacita that night, so that was exciting. Well, the night before, I guess, the dance. Senior Alexa Heitkamp gave the state superintendent address at the state capitol building in Madison. We've had a lot of new additions to the school, and they've already been helping improve the learning environment of our students. The weight room was one of the large changes, and it helped more students gain access to equipment and more eager to stay fit. The addition to the shop has also opened up many new doors towards auto maintenance classes and will continue to in the future. The middle school recently learned more about railroad safety. FFA attended the World Dairy Expo in Madison, where they got to learn more about agriculture from different groups of people. I was kind of asking one of their members about it, and she said that they got to watch like different cows and just things like that and learn new things. Today, National Honor Society and Student Council co-sponsored one of the first of 4 this school year, the blood drives. Not only is it a great way to help others, it also helps benefit scholarships given to the seniors associated with community service and the blood drive. On September 27th, the cross-country team got to attend the Marshfield Nightfall Classic, where they had a neon race, so they got to like decorate their camp and had a bunch of glow sticks. They painted with some neon paint on their legs and all that stuff, and the whole trail was lit up by Christmas lights, so I know they really enjoyed that, and that was a cool thing. English, for the AP Literature class on September 18th, they went to a Much Ado About Nothing, a Shakespeare play. They're reading it right now, and so they went to go see it, and that was a fun experience for them. Looking towards the future in the next coming month, there'll be parent-teacher conferences. Playoffs for fall sports will also begin within the next couple weeks. Next Saturday, there'll be Sunshine on the Trail. The Harvest Fest concert will be the 29th. On the 17th, FCCLA Fall Leadership Conference will be held at Stevens Point, where they get to learn new things as a group, and I know they've enjoyed it in the past. The mini cheer, that's fun. That's this week. So the cheerleaders have been working with the little girls, and I was in mini cheer when I was little, and it was one of like my favorite things ever. So it's fun to see that they're getting to do that again. I know today they're in here after school. So Friday they have their performance, which will be very fun. The high schoolers choir, honors choir, the Clearwater Honors Choir, will be Saturday 19th at UW Eau Claire. And then on November 2nd, the Clearwater's Honors Band will also be at UW Eau Claire. The UWL High School Band Day, as the 26th, so it's kind of like the high schoolers get to go to UWL and do more band associated things. FFA National Convention, they leave the 22nd, come back the 25th in Indianapolis. And finally, the quarter ends on November 1st. So that'll be an adventure for all the students. And that was all. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. And we know you are one of those busy people involved with all that, so thank you very much. Thanks for coming. All right, so School Board Appreciation Week is going on right now, and I'll let David talk in a moment, but I'm going to talk first, sorry. I sent everyone a text, and I sincerely meant what I said. It's a true privilege to work with all of you, and I appreciate everything you do for our students and our community. And Bangor Pride, you all live it and demonstrate it to our community and our students and our staff, so thank you.
Yeah, Julie took the words out of my mouth. I mean, just a great group. We do have a little card there from the elementary school thanking you for that, so you can pass that up and down. All the students and staff sign that over there, and just appreciating everything that you guys do. We put your new pictures that you got last month out on social media and making sure we're recognizing you that way. I know Tina appreciates that. So I just want to say a couple weeks ago I had the chance to be in Madison. I was there when for this the state of the education address that Alexa got a chance to introduce folks, and I spent a few days with people in my shoes sitting in other superintendencies across the state, and I'm just again reminded what an amazing group that we have here that has stayed focused on improving our school district for the good of our community. When I hear you read every month the collective commitments that we built together, we're really pushing in the same direction, and I think that makes a huge thing, or it makes a huge difference. And I thank you for allowing me to work with you and for your leadership for this community. So happy School Board Appreciation Week.
Thank you, David. All right, enrollment updates.
Yeah, so I've got, I think it was just April that I brought this to you. We had some conversations about open enrollment and kind of understanding what open enrollment was. Created the document. You guys appreciated that, and we said we ought to see this more often. So we're off to the beginning of the school year. We've got past that third Friday count, which is the count that's going to affect our revenue limit worksheet and all those types of things. So I went through and I updated this because that's really the number that I had put in there, those third Friday numbers. So this is just some of that history on open enrollment, and I'm talking specifically about open enrollment, but talking about enrollment in general. So our enrollment over time, I apologize that it's hard to see up there, but that number is 656, up from 641 last year. So that's in your paperwork, and obviously you can see it there. That is the head count on the third Friday count, and that's the data that I used over time, so comparing apples to apples. There are some students that we are educating, responsible for at some of the alternative placements that don't necessarily count in that head count, but they offset in other places too. So we're closer to that 665 number than that number with the number of kids that we're actually educating at this moment in time. Trending, continuing to slowly grow. The open enrollments ins and outs, last year that was 135 to 112, 135 in, 112 out. We've stayed at that 135 in, and we're at 114 out for the district. So that ratio, has stayed pretty close to the same of where we've been. The next couple slides remind us we're 21 students to the good right now for the year, and you can see those trends over time. So back as far as 2015, I did take more than 10 years of data off this, so it's just 10 years of data, so that you can see it a little bit clearer. We had been negative and floating around that zero, and then it's really been the last 3 years that we've started to see that trend in a better direction that way. So you can see that. I updated this. As we know, the per pupil revenue limit authority went from 11,000 to 11,350 this year, which is going to be part of the annual meeting, and kind of talking about what that means. The open enrollment numbers also change with that. So these are the current numbers based on what DPI has told us for this year. So when we have a regular education tuition, whether somebody's coming in or whether somebody's going out, we pay for an out, and the other district pays for an in, that $8,962. The regular education for 4K, obviously it's not a full day, not full time, it's still at that 0.6, so that's a smaller number. And special education in or out is that 13,841. So if we have a student who open enrolls out with special education needs, we actually have more go out than what we brought in for them on the 11,350 per pupil. So it's again, that's the system that we're dealing with. When we look at that over time, the financial impact to our total budget, this is what we are looking at. Now, that number for 2024 is a number. It will change throughout the year. It has changed since the third Friday with people going in and out. So that number will change throughout the year. So when I bring this back updated, I'll continue to update it with the most current. We will not see that money until the end of the school year. So we budget for it accordingly. So we do expect somewhere in that $200,000 mark coming into the district this year, because we are trending that 21 students to the positive. So it kind of gives you an idea of where we are. I did include in there, as I did the last time we went through this, kind of a breakdown of grade levels in the board packet as well, so that you can see kind of where all of them are. For the first time this year, we are capping, and we have denied open enrollments for 4th, 5th grade and for speech and language. So just, again, talking about that, it's not a keep coming until we can't handle it. There is some caps on that. So just kind of giving some updates on that. Again, those trends are to the positive as we look at the budget, and they are to the positive as we, look at our the financials and the experience that we're creating for kids here. Any questions on enrollment? It wasn't that long ago that I showed you that presentation for the first time, but I wanted to give you the updated with it this year. Okay? All right.
David, you can continue with the 2024-2025 budget projections.
Yeah, I'm going to keep this short too. The 2024-25 budget projections. Again, we've been engaged in this conversation for multiple months with the Baird model, projecting out, trying to plan for the referendum. I brought to you last month that we had dropped the mill rate from our original projections, the mill rate projections from our original projections, and Angie and I have been through, we met with Brian a couple weeks ago and just really kind of looked at how everything would, Brian from Baird a couple weeks ago, looked how everything would shake out. We're feeling very confident that what we bring you in 2 weeks, once we have the final numbers next week, which we don't have yet, once we have those final numbers, is going to be right at that 938 mill rate, which is 938, 939, which is what we've been communicating out to the community. So we're not anticipating any bad news at that point in time, that what we have communicated to the community will change. So obviously, all of those things come into it. When we look at that budget, I'll remind you again next week, when we look at the revenue limit worksheet, remember the FTEs, the full-time equivalents that we get, that 11,350. It's a different calculation than that head count enrollment that I showed you on that first screen. And we take a 3-year average of the FTE. So I'll walk through that all again next week, but just so there's no surprises there. We are where we anticipated we would be, and looking forward to 2 weeks from now trying to finalize all of that and getting it ready for the year. Any questions that you're hearing around budget, or any questions you have for me before the annual meeting and budget hearing next week or in 2 weeks? All right, I'll keep rolling. Facility projects is really the predominant amount of work has been going on at the activity center. And if you've driven by there, it's obvious. They are getting ready. The 21st blacktop will go in, and shortly thereafter, they'll get everything lined for the new parking area and everything up there. You won't be able to see it very well tonight, but as you're driving by, the ephes or stucco type material on the back above the brick is completed all the way around. Looks amazing. They've patched some patches on the north side that faces the parking lot where there was some bad spots in that. They've fixed that up, and that wall will get painted to match the back, so it'll be that lighter color. And we're working with the art department, and our hopes is to get a mural on that wall facing the parking lot at some point in time. So kind of excited about that. And we'll get up there today. The gym floor, they pulled out of here this morning probably at 9 o'clock. All the wood is installed. Bleachers are away from the wall right now. They have sanded and sealed where the bleachers go. So the bleacher company will be coming in to put the bleachers back against a painted wall and all of that type of stuff. And then we're on schedule with everything that we're supposed to have, that we will have all the hoops in and everything, have the floor sanded, and at least the first coats on it for the election. We'll probably cover up where we're using for the election on November 5th. As soon as the election is done, we will finish the final coats of finish on that floor, and they're going to have it for us on November 19th is when it gets really tight with us, with all three, middle school and boys and girls basketball all rolling. So we can make it to that point, and the 19th we're using that floor for regular use, and that building will be turned over to us completely at that time.
So Harvest Fest isn't going to make it, right?
Harvest Fest will not be in that facility. It'll be here, which I think this is going to be a great new place to use this room a little bit differently in the past than we have in the past. Yep.
Do you have an update on financials for the projects?
It's changed a lot in the last few weeks, but we're as we said, as we said we would be. There's not a lot of extra left at the end of this. There was a lot of unexpected at the activity center, but I don't have an exact number in front of you.
Okay. Do you have a buildings and ground meeting scheduled or coming up
We can do
soon?
that. Yeah.
I feel like it's been a while since we've had one,
Yep.
and I think we need to address it and see it.
Yep. Yep. I can do that. I can put a building and grounds committee together. Sounds good. Other than that, it is, it's punch list work. There's a lot scheduled to happen the 17th and 18th when there's no students here. So I guess I wouldn't be surprised at parent-teacher conferences, especially if you come right away early in the afternoon. We've got a couple contractors walking around the halls and taking care of little things. Chiller is scheduled to start that week too at this building. Boilers should get fired up at the elementary next week, and that's just in time because it's starting to get cool. So those are the things happening at the other buildings. All right. Operational referendum, I put it on there, but it is as simple as what I've shared. The numbers are running exactly where we thought they would be, or very close to where we thought they would be. We've had a couple community sessions, not well attended, but we have had that opportunity for the community. I do really think the open house the night of homecoming was a huge positive. I talked to a number of people about it. We had the boards up and folks were asking questions. The feedback I've got is positive. If you've heard anything else, or if there's anybody else that I should be reaching out to communicate with, I'm happy to do that. But I think we're on track for November 5th.
I know you said that the sessions weren't well attended. Did you reach out to any? Did you do villages or boards?
I did not. We started looking at the schedule, and they're all on top of each other. Some conflict with these meetings, and I probably should have been on it about 2 months earlier, so I could have stretched it out. But I did not get to
Okay.
get
I just
to
want to
those.
make sure I didn't.
Yep.
All right. Thank you. Oops, sorry. District action agenda, none. Personnel, hire of a middle school, high school paraprofessional. Sorry.
Sure.
I wanted to make sure everyone was awake.
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever heard that. Well, we were short for a while for a paraprofessional, and when I put it on weekend, which is the statewide for teachers and such, we had nothing other than one person who had a master's degree who ended up taking a job at Western before. I mean, we had interviewed that person, but then I put it on Indeed, my newfound source this year, where I found some ag candidates and others, and then we were starting to get more candidates. Very diverse candidate pool. So we did interview 5 different people there, and which we were happy to have the number of applicants that we did. And then the committee chose Ann. I had Todd Grant, who the person particularly works with in the special education program, and then Hannah Schultz, our counselor as well, on the committee. And she's worked in a variety of jobs, called all the references for each one of them. They were all positive. The committee went with Ann, and so far she's been doing a very good job. So we're very thankful to have another person on board, because that can be a tough spot, a tough role at times. I mean, but it was definitely needed, because we need to cover a lot of different classes with support for students, and we weren't quite meeting all the needs until we were able to make this hire. So we're back to where we need to be legally with all of our IEPs and coverage, and not just legal, but we want it for the students, right? We want the support for them. So we're thankful to have Ann on board.
I'll move to approve the hire of Ann Heineck as the full-time middle school, high school paraprofessional for the 2024-25 school year.
I'll second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Lisa. Any discussion or further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, administratives reports. Mr. Chaplin, you can start us out.
Thanks, Julie. For some reason, special ed counts are different than Third Friday counts. So our October 1st count for special ed, and actually that should say 111. I must have did a typo when I was doing that. But it's serving 111 here physically in the districts. We have 9 students at other facilities. We have 3 students that we serve at St. Paul's, and then we also have 18 students with a 504 plan. So those are kind of our pupil service numbers. Compared to last year, we were at 85 instead of the 111, so up some. And then the other thing was Special Festers Day. Took 30 students to that. I was there for a little bit, but the elementary teachers and paraprofessionals do a great job taking their kids down there, and a great experience for them. I did share with everybody that the pictures that they took. So if you want to see some of those pictures, I did send that to you guys earlier today. So that's all I got.
Any questions for Mr. Chaplin? Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, Julie. Just FYI that we're wrapping up our fall screeners. I shared earlier, or last meeting, I guess, that we had to add another screener because of Act 20. We're working through those challenges that go with, just working through the procedures that are mandated by the state, and we're working through that right now, getting some good information. Shout out to Diane Weiss and Melissa Schultz for the guidance and leadership that they've carried through this process. Without them, it would be really difficult. They're amazing at what they do. So we're wrapping that up. Getting ready for parent-teacher conferences. So part of that screener information is stuff that we share with parents on next week, Thursday. So getting some of these individual reading plans and those types of things in place for those conversations is taking shape. Working on standards-based reporting for literacy standards. So we've been working on this for a long time. Literacy standards at the elementary level are massive. And so changing our report card to reflect some of those standards has been a long process of identifying and then figuring out how you're going to assess what does success criteria look like, how do you have that dialogue about those things, and then finally getting it onto the report card for the parents to understand what proficiency looks like for a student or those types of things. So those are changes that are coming for this fall's report card. So literacy will look differently at the elementary school than it has in the past. As we go forward, we'll be adding the math standards to the report card by the end of this year, being ready for next fall. A chair donation. So Bonnie Jackson, who is Sarah Jarvis's mom, donated chairs. Was it 60 chairs? I'm going to draw a blank on a number off the top of my head. Initially, it was 60 chairs. It's not quite 60 chairs. It was like $300 worth of chairs that Cataract School District had in their possession. They're in good condition. They were selling them for like $5 a piece or something. And Sarah noticed these chairs, saw they were in good condition, and one way or another, Bonnie decided that she wanted to pay for these chairs, and then they're going to deliver them and everything else. So it's just a win-win for our district. I want to just thank Bonnie for thinking of us. This is not the first time that she has participated in supporting our schools, and not only is Sarah a great employee for us, but her mom and whole family seem to get in on the action. So we really enjoy that. Then surround care update. Going way better than I anticipated it. I know the past practice pre-COVID was a little bit different, but this is going really well. Josie Wormiger and her staff, everything is really going flawlessly. The parents seem to have good information on how and when to pick up their students. We're using the building the way it should be used appropriately. She is gathering her students in the morning and the afternoon in our commons area. They spend a lot of time out on our playground space and doing fun things throughout the day. They sit and do craft work. They play with toys, everything you would see at a daycare facility, let's say. But this surround care is really providing our families with some stability in the before and after school care, and just really am proud and happy, I guess, that it is going as well as it is. And it goes back to her and I and how we communicate very well up front with each other about things and expectations. And it's just been a really good experience. So hopefully, that continues for a really long time. So.
Any questions for Mr. Johnson?
I'm just curious on the surround care. I'm glad to hear that it's going so well, but is it full, and is there a waiting list?
Right now, full is a really large number. So full it would be, I think they said 51. Right now we're at 19. She would need additional staff, that kind of stuff. So right now it's a good number. The way she structured it too, parents are committing for a semester. And so, maybe there will be some of that change as it goes. But I think 19 is a really good number. She's got one staff member. She's there, Josie, typically in the morning. And then one of her staff members, Lexi, is in the afternoon. Both do a really great job as far as, I think classroom expectations type stuff that I pay very close attention to. The organized nature of it, how the kids are representing, I guess, in that space. They run a really good program.
I was surprised, unless I misunderstand, that she can't handle 4K.
Correct. Yeah, it's part of her licensure. So when a kid turns 5, then they can come in. And there's, I think there's 2 or 3 that are scheduled to jump on that when they're on their 5th birthday, let's say. So when they turn 5, yes. So, I think that's something that the parents were like, yeah, we can manage that, and so on. So it's going well.
Anything else for Mr. Johnson? Thank you very much, Mike. Mr. Mullenberg.
Thank you, Julie. I actually had a long list until I met with Sophie, just so you know. So I didn't intend to delete everything that was on there, but that's why when I opened it up tonight, I'm like, where'd the rest of it go? So I do have a few things that I did want to talk about. So we're continuing to work on with our PLC work. And yesterday I sat in with the math team going over our standard-based assessments and things. So enjoying the work that we're doing there was one where Mrs. Johnson shared a middle school assessment that they had. The whole math team kind of looked at the rubric and how would each of them score it based on the different error patterns, and then what did we learn from that. So that work continues, and we're moving forward with that. It's just a long haul. I mean, that's something that takes a while because you're designing new assessments and what they look like. So it's been some really good work, and I always enjoy sitting in on those. I did want to follow up on our open house as well a little bit. That was great. The number of people that were here. It was nice to see everybody. And then the comments, and then kind of being one of the old dogs around, it was saying, well, we had this, we had that. And then I had some of my former students that are way older than they should be, but they came in, didn't know how to feel about not having the steps in here. They said they're gone. I'm just not sure how to feel about that. And I said, I kind of felt that way, but I like this better. And but then I did have a lot of comments as well that we should have had that weight room before. We should have had that tech ed area before. I feel like I was robbed. They said, you got a great education and they're doing great things and things. So so that was it was neat for me to see some of them I hadn't seen probably 15, 20 years. So it's kind of neat to see some of the people come back. But I thought that night went really well. It was great to see a lot of our community show up. And then we are preparing for parent-teacher conference as well. And as David said, we may have some flooring people and stuff around, but we're getting ready for that and looking forward to that as well. I always do, talking to people and our community and the support. And then homecoming week went off well. I thought our staff did a great job. Our students did a great job. A lot of school spirit. I always enjoy seeing that. My senior exit interviews each year always say homecoming was probably their favorite week of the year. So we're trying to figure out, and I met with my student advisory committee, how do we continue some of those things throughout the year? Because what we really try to do is be all-inclusive where everybody in the high school does something during that week, participates somehow. So every single kid that we had in the high school, all 224, had something that they were doing. And then on homecoming day, on that Friday, we divided it all up, and every single person had something that they were working on. And so that's what I like about it, is it's really about involvement. And that's where I met with student council last year, and they were talking about some different ideas. And I said, we want this to be for everybody. And they agreed. So that was kind of how we came up with some of the tweaks that we made to that. So I think that's what makes homecoming week. And then I also remind the kids, especially the football players since I've been here, that homecoming week really is also about our alumni. And I always encourage, when I was the head coach, that if you can only come back for one game, please come back for homecoming. Sit in the stands and say, oh, that kid wearing my number, I was better than he was, or whatever it is with your buddies. And but so that's why I take a lot of pride in that week, because it does represent everybody who's gone here in the past. So that's always a special week for me, and I'm glad that went well. So I had a lot more on there. Sophie took care of it. She did a better job than I can. She's amazing, and she is so busy. She came right from volleyball practice that she coaches. So I'm just thankful that she can be a part with us this year as well.
And she was at the blood drive.
And she was at the blood drive as well, yeah.
Any questions for Mr.
She's-
Mullenberg? All right, Dr. Braca.
All right. Well, Rick hit the community open house well, and I spoke about it a little bit earlier. We've got great feedback on that, and it was a lot of fun. I was over at the elementary for most of the night. It was a lot of fun to see some of the former educators come back just to walk through, and then 3 or 4 former educators standing in the hallway having a conversation, talking about what they had to do and what they lived in, and those types of things. So that was kind of fun. Jan had a ball showing off the kitchen, the Lions Club, especially at the elementary school. Number of those folks that were here for the punt, pass, and kick were able to get over there and see that space. I think they're pretty excited about the pancake breakfast and being able to use that space. So it was just a really positive night, and I think people appreciated it. And I was glad to see so many people there. And I'd just say, if anybody is watching this that hasn't seen it yet and wants a tour, we'd love to give tours. Very fun to walk around the buildings and talk about what the changes would have been. Wanted to recognize, just for you guys tonight, Cole's Fellowship Awards is something that Herb Cole and the Herb Cole Foundation started years and years ago. This is where, through a fellowship process and a pretty rigorous application, we select a state teacher of the year each year that represents our state in Washington, D.C. When I hear some of the stories, and the 4 state teachers of the year were introduced at the Capitol in Madison, I know in our halls we have educators of that caliber. So we really kind of made it a priority to make sure that we are at least getting our people in those spots where they can complete the application. So we have nominated 3 people this year from the district: Sarah Langer, second grade teacher; Sherry Horseman, which is now in the computer support role; and Carrie Johnson in middle school math. All 3 absolutely outstanding educators. All 3 have agreed to take on the task of putting together the application. And it is a little bit rigorous to write the essays and those types of things, collect some letters of reference and those types of opportunities. But the Cole's Fellowship Award winners, there'll be multiple of them across the state, receive some money for themselves and for the school district. Obviously state recognition, and then from that, again, there's a progression after that. And again, I know we have that caliber of educators, so we just wanted to make sure that we're getting some nominees in that pool moving forward. So congratulations to Sarah, Sherry, and Carrie for their roles this year. So, self-funded insurance update. I did get one question on the financials. You're starting to see some of those numbers coming in. I guess, the thing I would remind you as you look at the financials, our premiums, had we renewed with a regular renewal, would have been about $76,000 a month. So when you compare that, we just have to remember we are going to have some larger checks that are going out. It's just in multiple little checks versus one larger one. As we look at it, the July and August data is available for us. It does take time for everything to process through insurance. And July and August data showed us exactly what we expected. There were no claims paid in July, so all we paid was the monthly fixed costs in July. And then we started to see costs come in August. Those costs in August came in under that monthly budget, if you will, of 76, with the first month putting us in a really good place. I will, kind of as we go through the year, I'll share some other updates with the board as far as actual dollar amounts and where that's running. But the bottom line is, we are looking at this as a long-term process, and we're going to have some ups and downs along the way. And, you're looking at it over a multi-year period. And if we can run right on budget, for most of those years, that's great. We're going to have a high year that we're a little bit over. We're going to have a low year or two, hopefully, that we're running well. So a 2-month picture is not a great enough, amazing enough picture of that, but I will keep the board kind of updated on how those numbers are running. One of the things that we looked at in the first 2 months is we are not using the neighborhood family clinics enough. So that's something at our upcoming, on the 19th, our professional development day, we're going to do a lunch and learn and bring in Dr. Thompson from Neighborhood Family Clinic. And he is just going to share a little bit about what Neighborhood Family Clinic has to offer our employees, whether they're on our plan or not. So that's just a positive for us that he is so close and willing to come in and spend that time. As we see the data, that's been part of the plan, is that we can target specific conversations, specific situations, and make sure that we're educating our folks on how to use the plan to the best of our knowledge or best of our ability. So again, running really well right now, mainly because that first month ran, without the claims coming in, and we expected that and have planned for that.
Is that a typo, because the 19th is a Saturday?
I apologize. It's the 18th. Yes, it's a typo.
Okay.
And then just kind of giving you a heads up, I'm going to send you in the next couple weeks first draft of the 25-26 calendar as we take a look at that. Just started getting that put together, and give you a chance to take a look at that. We'll talk about it in November, and either look to approve it or look to approve it in December. But getting rolling on that process again for next year. Yeah.
Mind if I share something real quick?
Yeah.
You done?
Please.
Sorry, I forgot to add, I know Rick and I both do this. We meet with our Scenic Bluffs principal group. I know I think Rick does every month. Mine is more like every 2 or 3 months or so. Anyway, invited them to come over here to Bangor. We had lunch and talked about a lot of, we have a meeting where we talk about how are you guys handling this and that and the other thing and all that. And that's always super helpful to get perspective a lot of times. But then gave them a tour of our new facility and got some really good feedback on that. And some people saying, wow. So I forgot to put that on my agenda, but I just wanted to share that. That's always a really good thing that we do. I know Rick really enjoys it as well, but having the opportunity to share our new facility with them was a good opportunity. So.
I got
Thank
two
you.
questions. Can I ask 2 questions?
Yeah, go
When we
ahead.
talked about the insurance, when we went through all of it the first time, if I remember, we still are we're still putting the money we normally would have used every month aside so that we have it there for those longer months, right? So we are still proactively
Correct.
figuring that into our path.
It's all figured into the budget.
Okay.
Yes, we are budgeting. We are budgeting for what the full renewal would
what
have.
we were going to pay originally,
Right.
and we're just going to leave it there for those
Yep.
times when it gets stressful.
Correct,
Okay.
and a little bit more.
Okay.
Yep. Because we're actually budgeting for worst case scenario. So we know what that budget is, but we're budgeting for worst case scenario if every one of our employees went to their max. That's what we're budgeting for. So what we will have in the budget will cover all of that in worst case scenario, and hopefully we're in a situation at the end of the year where we didn't need it all.
Okay. That's what I thought, though.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know that I can, but if I could I come in and listen to Dr. Thompson's presentation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome to. It'll be at noon at the elementary school. We'll be in the comments. Yep. On the 18th.
And everybody commented on the open house, but everybody I run into keeps telling me what a great opportunity it was. And it spans from people that have kids here to people that don't, all across the board, that they really enjoyed it. So it was really, really well received, I think. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. It was fun. It was fun.
Okay, next, removal of items from the consent agenda. On our consent agenda tonight are current openings listing, approval for overnight field trip for the FFA, our ECCP courses at UWL, and our SCN courses at Western are listed there. Resignation of our head softball coach, early graduation request, and then a request for a couple of maternity leaves.
I just had one question on the classes. These aren't anything different than your normal list that we've always had, that
No,
nothing new added?
these, correct me if I'm wrong, these would be classes that are happening second semester, because we're already starting to register for second semester, that weren't already being taken first semester. So they're
Correct.
additional classes.
Correct. Since our kids get registered last after everybody else, we don't
Right.
know until late. That's kind of why that happens.
If there's no more questions, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Jessica to, oh, I'm sorry, Kelly. Approval, motion made by Joni, seconded by Kelly to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. And I ask for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion made by Tina, seconded by Lisa to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thanks, everyone.